Okay, so I'm going to be comparing all the VR headsets that I got, the popular ones at least, the lower cost ones, and the more mainstream ones in terms of size and their weight, and essentially their dimensions and how they look and how they feel. So I'm going to start with the one on the extreme left. This one I bought about a year ago, I think, during Thanksgiving. That's the Meta Quest 2. Then the latest one that came out, which was this year, 2024, which is a Meta Quest 3S, which is a toned down version of the next one, which is the Meta Quest 3. And 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 then finally the PlayStation VR2, which also came down in price this year. In terms of cost, I think the lowest cost one was the Meta Quest 2, which came out last year, which I bought last year anyway during Thanksgiving. And then the next lowest cost was the Meta Quest 3S. And then the next lowest one was the Meta Quest 3. And finally is the PlayStation VR2, which also came down in price. It was a higher price. I think the Meta Quest 2 I probably bought in like the $250 range. The Meta Quest 3S was in the $300 range with a free game. I think it was Batman Arkham. And then the Meta Quest 3 also came with Batman Arkham VR, which also got Game of the Year, I believe. But it was more expensive. I think it was like $400 and or 375 or so after taxes. I got it from Target. And then finally the PSVR 2, which was $350. I believe I got this one from Costco, and it came with a free charger. So anyway, getting down to actual comparisons, uh, in terms of what they look like, this is what they look like. They come with different types of controllers. I also put on some straps, different kinds of straps for some of them. So for the Meta Quest 2, I had replaced it with an aftermarket strap which didn't have a battery, it's just a strap. Actually, no, I take that back. It does have a battery included with the strap, Elite strap with battery, and I don't remember how much I paid for this, but it was not very expensive, 10,000 milliamp hours. Basically, this is the back of with the battery, and it shows when you press this button, it shows the charge held on the battery, and you can also charge the battery itself with its own USB-C port. And essentially, the battery connects to the main headset from this USB-C port on the side of the headset. Um, this is the uh, this one is the Quest 3S, and it's got these three cameras like this. It's got a lower resolution than the 3, and there, but both of these have AR features, augmented reality, which didn't exist in the Meta Quest 2. I don't know if it's just a matter of a software update that would have made this more AR capable, but essentially, AR was actually advertised and is prevalent in the 3S and the 3. In terms of aftermarket straps, this is the stock strap that came with the 3S, nothing fancy. And also the 3 had a similar stock strap which is removed over here. um, it has a pass through for the audio. That hole over there is for the uh, external auxiliary audio, which exists on the 3 but not on the 3S. I guess on the 3S you'd probably have to connect to audio using Bluetooth, which can have its own latency and probably not as uh, good as directly connecting to an aux audio port. That hole is for the USB-C charging port on the side of the 3. And for the MetaQuest 3, I installed this aftermarket head strap with the battery. It looks similar to the one with the battery on the MetaQuest 2, except this has got a Halo style head mount, which probably mounts better than no Halo style. This has just got a back strap. This has got back and top place where it secures. This is the popular one that I got on sale for Thanksgiving for $39, I think. So Kiwi is the name of the company, and H4 Boost is the one. It doesn't advertise a specific milliamp hour rating, I noticed on this battery strap. So that's anyway the 3, and then finally the PSVR 2. This is comes with this Halo style strap to begin with. So this is the stock strap, and in terms of battery, it's probably integrated in here and it's not at the back, or maybe it is at the back, I'm not sure. But one main difference is all of these three, MetaQuest 2, MetaQuest 3S, and MetaQuest 3 are wireless, whereas and then they've got integrated GPUs that do the rendering and processing. So they're like a standalone unit that you can use on their own. You don't have to connect them to anything. Whereas um, the PlayStation VR2 doesn't have its own GPU and processing power. It's simply just a head-mounted display. It connects to the PlayStation 5's GPU, and it gets its video from the PS5. And it uses this. It's not wireless. It uses this cable. It's a USB-C cable to connect to the PlayStation 5. So that's one difference in terms of value. I think the MetaQuest 3S probably has the best value for price, and then I would say the MetaQuest 3, simply because they're truly wireless and they have their own integrated GPU and they can render graphics, whereas the PSVR 2 needs a PlayStation 5 console or PS5 console. So in terms of value, maybe the 3S is the best value, I think, for money. And the 3 comes next in terms of high resolution and a few more features. This is what they look like in terms of their side profile. They are very similar. Obviously, the these two have straps, elite straps, kind of equivalent battery mounted elite straps. This one has got its stock, but I just showed them here as a comparison. I believe the um, PS VR2 has OLED lenses. I'm not sure if that's true. And obviously the 3 has got like a slimmer profile in the front. I think it's got pancake lenses, is what I believe. And this one is the MetaQuest 2, 3S rather, and the MetaQuest 2. So that's what they look like from the side profile. In terms of size, they are probably all very similar in size um, if you consider adding a strap, like a especially like a Halo style head strap. But if I were to compare, if you were to add a strap, if you notice the 3 and the strap for the MetaQuest 2 are very similar in size. maybe if I compare, this is with the 3 fully extended out, and it stays using this dial which locks it in place. So in terms of size, if I were to compare uh, back to front, it's probably around 12 inches or so. But basically this adapts to the size of your head. um, for the Meta Quest, rather for the PSVR 2, for some reason the strap does not hold in place. There's this latch at the back which you press and then it extends, but it doesn't stay extended for some reason. It snaps back. I don't know of a way to lock the strap in its most extended position, but that's what it looks like. In terms of controls and adjustments, the PSVR2 also has this adjustment, which is the distance of this halo from the lenses. So you can adjust the distance from your eyes of the lenses using this button. When you press it down, you can adjust this distance here. Like if I were to try, I would press it down like this, and then I can adjust the distance using like my other hand like this. So I would move it in the front or take it in the back. This is at the back, and this is all the way to the front. And then I adjust this like this and then release this button. The This strap, the Kiwi H4 Boost, also has a similar adjustment in the front here, I believe. And so this automatically adjusts. This kind of clip here is, for some reason, is not very well designed. I think like it should clip in, but may not always hold. So this is one defect I find, or maybe I just don't know how to use it properly. But so that's the main look at all the different headsets. um, Personally, my personal favorite is probably the Meta Quest, the Meta Quest 3. And in general, I like the Meta series because I feel there's a lot more content, game content, for the standalone operation. The other thing that I didn't realize is you can connect many of these to a PC, and you can use PC VR gaming on these. So, but for that to work, you have to connect them using a cable, and it's not wireless, and it's a little clunky. Um, I believe you can connect. My guess is you can connect the 3S, the Meta Quest 3, and the PSVR 2 to so PlayStation in general does not have as much VR content. I guess it came with the Horizon Call of the Mountain game, I think, with for free with the package. Um, these two came. The Meta Quest 3 and 3S came with a Batman Arkham VR2 game, VR game, and I don't remember what the Meta Quest 2 came with, but essentially in terms of content, I think I prefer the MetaQuest series, which have a lot more content, standalone operation content on the Meta platform, and I think there's more coming. On the PSVR 2, there also is some content, but not as much as the MetaQuest series. And in terms of weight, I also wanted to get a comparison on the weight. So I got this, although um, I want to actually first estimate which is the lightest using just my hands. Also, the controllers, one difference is the MetaQuest 2 has these ring style controllers. Then the MetaQuest 3S and the 3 have the non ring styles. They don't use rings. I think these rings have some kind of sensors in them, which was not needed in these new style of controllers. For the, I think that's more convenient. You don't have to worry about struggling with the ring, and it's also a bigger controller for these MetaQuest 2. The biggest controllers are the PlayStation VR2 controllers, which are much bigger ring style controllers than all of the others. And but the good thing about these controllers is that it has those PlayStation buttons, the four famous, the triangle, square, circle, and the X. So it's like you are using the generic, the platform specific buttons, and it's got all similar PlayStation button and this options menu buttons and things like that. So it's very similar to using like a dual sense controller in that sense, in that way. And so that's one thing I like. The inconvenience, of course, is that to use the PSVR2, you have to connect it to the PlayStation 5 with this cable. So that limits you in terms of movements, whereas the Meta Quest platform, you don't have to connect using cables. So that's another advantage. In terms of the weight, I want to compare the weight starting with, let's start with the MetaQuest 2. These are, of course, the weights that are essentially, some of them have the straps on. So this one has a strap on. So it's not a fair comparison because I'm comparing not just the controller, the headset weights, but also the strap weights. But it just gives some fair idea about what the rough weight of everything is. So I'm going to start with this MetaQuest 2. I'm going to place it here. I'm not sure how accurate my weighing machine is, but it's worth a try. And actually it doesn't quite accommodate the whole thing, so I don't know how accurate it'll be. But let's see if I were to reduce the size, so to try to make it all fit on the weighing machine. So I've reduced the size and hopefully now the whole thing will fit. And then let's turn it on. Actually it's not probably measuring it too well. How about if I were to place it like this? Can't be 3 grams, it must be more than that. Well, it doesn't seem to be measuring the weight too well. So maybe this is, here it says it's about 410 grams. If I put it here like this, it shows it's 300 grams, almost 295 grams. So I'm not sure exactly. Let's say it's 420. And then let's measure the weight of the 3S. Let's see, put this over here and put the machine off. Shows 0 grams. And let's put this on. So just the stock weight, it shows with the stock strap, it shows 513 grams for the 3S. And then for the 3, I'm also going to reduce the size of the head strap so I can try to fit the whole assembly on the weighing machine. But like, let's try and put the so I have a feeling this whole thing is not fitting on it, but if I were to try and fit it, it shows 715 grams or so, but it's not fitting the whole thing, so it's probably a little more than 700, but it's more actually. It's 780 grams or so. I'm trying to fit the whole thing. Yeah, there we go. Now it's probably the most accurate. 911 grams. And finally, we have the PSVR 2. Gonna also decrease its size so I can try to weigh the whole thing. So the PSVR 2 is probably the lightest, considering it's got its head strap also included. It's 416 grams, but I don't think the entire strap is fitting. If I were to try and hold up the strap a little lightly, it's actually going down in weight, but that's because I'm holding up the strap a bit. Maybe if I just try to, yes, holding it up with the controller, it's about 420 grams. So this definitely does feel the lightest if I were to just estimate it with my hands. This one feels the heaviest with the, this is of course with the Kiwi H4 boost strap, and this one feels the next heaviest. No, actually the Quest 2 with its strap feels the next heaviest, and this feels the lightest, the 3S, probably because it's got no strap. So that's a rough comparison of all of the headsets